Guru Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri 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 Guru Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyaya Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadguru Bhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Balrup
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Paramapujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this program, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji now in worship.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadguru Bhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gururdevo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Bhuyuta Shri Hari Chinnhitabhyam Agastya Rekhadi Bhiranchitabhyam Nigodha Bijakshara Mudritabhyam Namo Namah Sadguru Padukabhyam. Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidanandarupam Vibhudharivahasevyam Yogamargadhirudham Sharanamupagatanam Sanghadrivajram Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhaktinamro Namami, Bhaktinamro Namami.
Once again everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arpanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Ramlal Educational Institute of number 12 Exchange Lots Couva, Valini's Drug Mart Limited of 58 to 60 Sutton Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, and Koke Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando.
Yesterday was a particularly auspicious day for Datta devotees worldwide. Yesterday, Datta Jayanti was celebrated. This was the main day of a 3-day period of celebrations. And so, as promised on last week's episode of Datta Arpanam, today we will hear about the events which led up to Lord Datta's incarnation. But first, such contemplation should always be preceded by the worship of Lord Ganapati. So, please everyone, open the Bhajan Mala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 2218 and join in worshipping the remover of obstacles.
व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते
व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते
व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते
व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते
भद्रं कर्णै शृणवाम
भद्रं कर्णै शृणवाम
भद्रं कर्णै शृणवाम
भद्रं कर्णै शृणवाम
भद्रं नयनै पश्याम
भद्रं नयनै पश्याम
भद्रं नयनै पश्याम
भद्रं नयनै पश्याम
भद्रं कर्म च करवाम
भद्रं कर्म च करवाम
भद्रं कर्म च करवाम
भद्रं कर्म च करवाम
रुद्रात्मज त्वां प्रणमाम
रुद्रात्मज त्वां प्रणमाम
रुद्रात्मज त्वां प्रणमाम
रुद्रात्मज त्वां प्रणमाम व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते
व्रातपते
प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते
कर्ता धर्ता हर्ता त्वं
कर्ता धर्ता हर्ता त्वं
कर्ता धर्ता हर्ता त्वं
कर्ता धर्ता हर्ता त्वं
सत्यं ज्ञानं ब्रह्मत्वं
सत्यं ज्ञानं ब्रह्मत्वं
सत्यं ज्ञानं ब्रह्मत्वं
सत्यं ज्ञानं ब्रह्मत्वं
नित्यं साक्षादात्मा त्वं
नित्यं साक्षादात्मत्वं
नित्यं साक्षादात्मा त्वं
नित्यं साक्षादात्मत्वं
सर्वान् लोकान् पाहि त्वं
सर्वान् लोकान् पाहि त्वं
सर्वान् लोकान् पाहि त्वं
सर्वान् लोकान् पाहि त्वं
व्रातपते
प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते
व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोस्तुते वाग्मय चिन्मय नादमय
वाग्मय चिन्मय नादमय
वाग्मय चिन्मय नादमय
वाग्मय चिन्मय नादमय
निगमागममय ब्रह्ममय
निगमागममय ब्रह्ममय
निगमागममय ब्रह्ममय
निगमागममय ब्रह्ममय
सप्तस्वरमय शास्त्रमय
सप्तस्वरमय शास्त्रमय
सप्तस्वरमय सप्तस्वरमय शास्त्रमय
सप्तस्वरमय शास्त्रमय
सच्चिदानन्दानन्दमय
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 व्रातपते
प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोऽस्तु ते
व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोऽस्तु ते
व्रातपते प्रमथपते व्रतफलदायक नमोऽस्तु ते
व्रतफलदायक नमोऽस्तु ते
व्रतफलदायक नमोऽस्तु ते
A beautiful start to what promises to be a beautiful hour filled with contemplation about Lord Dattatreya. You were just listening to the present-day incarnation of the aspect of Lord Dattatreya, Paramapujya Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji or Pujya Appaji, here on Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's program, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Sri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited.
As you heard earlier, yesterday, well, actually over the past 3 days, Datta Jayanti was celebrated. Yesterday was just the main day of those 3 days of celebration. And for anyone listening who may not be familiar with what Datta Jayanti is, this is the anniversary of the day when the Holy Trinity of Lords Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva incarnated as the single form of Lord Dattatreya. Today, in honor of that auspicious occasion, the story of the events which led up to it will be shared.
After Lord Brahma emerged from the navel of Lord Narayana, he began the process of creation. Remembering that he should create mankind in whom manas or mind was the chief possession, the Lord embarked upon Manasa Shrishti or creation by will or creation by thought. In other words, he began creating beings born of his mind.
Many great souls were born in this way. Atri Maharishi was one of those mind-born sons of Lord Brahma.
But beings were emerging from other parts of Lord Brahma as well. For example, some arose from his limbs and some even from his shadow. Prajapati Kardama was one of the sons of Lord Brahma who was born from the Lord's shadow.
As the Lord continued creating beings from various parts of his body in this way, he started growing tired. At that stage, Mother Shruti or Veda Mata appeared before him and taught him the principle of creation through the union of man and woman. The Lord decided to adopt this mode of creation, which would not only be in keeping with the dharma of a householder, but would also propagate itself on its own.
His first step in this mode of creation was to create from the right side of his body a man called Swayambhuva Manu.
And from the left side of his body, he created a woman called Shatarupa.
To this very first and pious human couple were born 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, as well as 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti and Prasuti.
Swayambhuva Manu got his first daughter married to the ascetic Ruchi. But when the time came for the second daughter to get married, he found it difficult to find a suitable groom for Devahuti, who is matchless in her character, beauty, and wisdom.
Swayambhuva Manu sought the advice of his father, Lord Brahma, who recommended that Kardama Prajapati would be a suitable husband for Devahuti. Remember, Kardama Prajapati was born of Lord Brahma's shadow.
At that time, Kardama Prajapati was engaged in intense penance. Swayambhuva Manu got Devahuti married to that tapasvin. With matchless devotion, Devahuti served her husband. While he engaged in intense penance for thousands of years, she guarded him like the eyelid guards the eye.
And listeners, it is important that we remember this part of the story. Not only does it teach us about how a couple should work together to support each other's spiritual endeavors, but as you will see in a little while, Devahuti's selfless service to her husband was later mirrored by her daughter Anasuya Mata. And so we see that if we want the generations coming up behind us to be good and righteous people, we must lead by example. Our words and our actions should be the legacies which we pass on to the generations to come. We cannot expect to be living adharmic lives, but yet hope that our children will follow the righteous path.
For example, if mantras are not chanted at home, or if bhajans are not sung at home or not even played, then it is unrealistic to expect the younger generation to develop not only a love for chanting the praises of God, but a love for God Himself. So let us join together now and set a good example for the younger generation. Let us join together and worship the Divine Mother. You can find the words to today's next bhajan by entering bhajan ID number 318 on the Bhajanmala app or website.
Today we have already heard of the defining feature of human beings compared to other beings in creation. It is the gift of our minds. This bhajan teaches us how best to put that gift to use. It teaches us how blessed we are to have such a gift. The bhajan says, "My walking is like pradakshina, my talking is my mantra, my sleeping is my prostration." That is mental worship or manasa puja. No flowers or other pieces of equipment are needed for such a puja.
Listeners, as you sing along, perform such manasa puja to Mother Goddess and feel the world around you slip away as you bring your mind into single-pointed focus on the divine. Once again, the bhajan ID number is 318.
मानसमन्दिरवासिनि भासय विशालकोमलकान्तिम् मदालसे शिवसुन्दरि वर्धय निजात्मभावनकिरणम् 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 परशिवदयिते विकासभरिते नानाजीवाकारे परशिवदयिते विकासभरिते नानाजीवाकारे अवगतिमुदिते अनन्यविदिते अचले अमले देवी अवगतिमुदिते अनन्यविदिते अचले अमले देवी मानसमन्दिरवासिनि भासय विशालकोमलकान्तिम् मदालसे शिवसुन्दरि वर्धय निजात्मभावनकिरणम् मानसमन्दिरवासिनि भासय विशालकोमलकान्तिम् मदालसे शिवसुन्दरि वर्धय निजात्मभावनकिरणम् विलससि बहुधा सुयोगशरणं बुद्धेर्वाचां पारे विलससि बहुधा सुयोगशरणं बुद्धेर्वाचां पारे परमपि मधुरे सुभक्तिरुचिरे शरणौ वरणीयासि परमपि मधुरे सुभक्तिरुचिरे शरणौ वरणीयासि मानसमन्दिरवासिनि भासय विशालकोमलकान्तिम् मदालसे शिवसुन्दरि वर्धय निजात्मभावनकिरणम् मानसमन्दिरवासिनि भासय विशालकोमलकान्तिम् मदालसे शिवसुन्दरि वर्धय निजात्मभावनकिरणम् सुललित हृदये सदैव सदये नूनं त्वं मे माता सुललित हृदये सदैव सदये नूनं त्वं मे माता गुरुवररूपे सरस संलापे भवती सच्चिदानन्दा गुरुवररूपे सरस संलापे भवती सच्चिदानन्दा मानसमन्दिरवासिनि भासय विशालकोमलकान्तिम् मदालसे शिवसुन्दरि वर्धय निजात्मभावनकिरणम् मानसमन्दिरवासिनि भासय विशालकोमलकान्तिम् मदालसे शिवसुन्दरि वर्धय निजात्मभावनकिरणम् 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 निजात्मभावनकिरणम्
Ganapati Swamiji or Pujapaji has on many occasions said that singing bhajans drives away negative thoughts. And when we sing bhajans like that one, it is easy to understand how this is possible. After all, if we welcome God into our minds, if we treat our minds like a temple, then of course evil thoughts will get driven away. Because as Pujapaji has taught on the free app SGS Post, not only does God have the power to suppress evil tendencies, but also the power of evil is diffused with prayer.
How grateful we are to Pujya Appaji for not only that wonderful app through which every day he sends short life coaching lessons, but also for blessing us with the tools to implement his teachings, tools like the bhajan you just heard.
You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Sri Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Debe Supermart Limited, Ramlal Educational Institute, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. Today, in honor of Datta Jayanti, which was celebrated yesterday, the story of the events leading up to the Lord's incarnation as Lord Dattatreya is being shared.
You already heard that Lord Brahma started creating mankind by his mere thought, and that one such mind-born son was Atri Maharishi.
You also heard that Devahuti, the beautiful and divine daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa, got married to the great Tapasvin Kardama Prajapati.
That righteous couple went on to have 9 daughters, one of whom was named Anasuya. But their blessings did not end there. Sriman Mahavishnu himself incarnated as their only son, who was named Kapila.
Lord Brahma's act of creating the human species continued without pause. It increased in leaps and bounds. But unfortunately, instead of spending time contemplating upon the soul or the self, people were spending their time indulging in sensual pleasures and vulgar enjoyments. And listeners, before we move on SGS posts on multiple occasions, Pujya Appaji has shared the message that we are all born for a purpose. And sure, we all fulfill daily roles in our individual lives, but we must never lose sight of the most important reason for our human birth. The main goal of this human life is to realize who we are. The Jivatma or soul, which gives life or consciousness to each of our bodies, is none other than Paramatma or the Supreme Soul. True realization, or in other words, experiencing this truth, is the ultimate goal of this human life.
When we identify with the outside world instead of the Paramatma which exists within us, that is when we get trapped in this cycle of repeated births. So it's no wonder that when Lord Brahma, the creator, saw that persons were not contemplating upon the soul, but instead getting carried away with temporary pleasures, that this caused him deep anguish. After giving it some serious thought, he came to the conclusion that the only permanent solution to the problem was the incarnation of a savior possessing immense moral and spiritual power.
Setting in motion the steps needed for this to happen, Lord Brahma performed the marriage of Anasuya, the second daughter of Kardama Prajapati and a woman of great virtue, to his own second mind-born son, Atri Maharishi, a Brahmagnani who was unlike any other. He then commanded Atri Maharishi to, following the rules of Grihastha Dharma or the Dharma of a householder, assist him in the work of creation.
That wonderful couple spent many thousands of celestial years as man and wife. Their wedded life was full of tapas and unsullied by lust. They worked tirelessly for the welfare of creation. One example of this was seen during the battle between the demons and the devatas, when both the sun and the moon were captured by the demons. With both the source of daytime illumination and the nighttime illumination being taken prisoners, the entire world was plunged into utter darkness. When this happened, the noble Atri Maharishi, moved by the appeals of the devatas, himself assumed the form of the sun and the moon and spread light across the world.
Anasuya Mata also engaged in miraculous feats for the benefit of creation. One example was seen when the river Ganga lost its purity and turned black on account of sinners bathing in her waters. Anasuya Mata sprinkled water from her kamandalam or her water pot, and in an instant all the impurities of Ganga were burnt away.
In this way, and many other ways, the noble couple of Atri and Anasuya spent thousands of years living an ideal wedded life. But Lord Brahma's command to assist him in the act of creation remained unfulfilled. This made the couple very unhappy.
In an effort to fulfill the mission assigned to them, Atri Maharishi, accompanied by his wife Anasuya Mata, went to the banks of the Nirvindhya river and, sitting in a suitable place on the peaks of the Riksha mountain, began a very rigorous tapas or penance.
Standing on one leg in Garudasana and controlling his mind in accordance with the rules of pranayama, Atri Maharishi immersed himself in deep meditation or samadhi while surviving on only air. He performed this intense penance for a full 100 years. Groups of Deva Rishis praised him, saying that the name Atri, meaning the one who is devoid of the three gunas, was such an appropriate name for one who could engage in such penance.
While her husband was engaged in that severe tapas, like her mother Devahuti had done when her father Kardama Prajapati was immersed in deep meditation, Anasuya Mata, the ideal wife, voluntarily undertook parallel disciplines. She kept a vigilant watch so that no obstacles could disturb Atri Maharishi's penance.
Atri Maharishi's achievements caused wonder to beings in all the three worlds. As a result of the unique pranayama he performed, a mighty fire rose in his body. That fire burst forth from the crown of his head as tawny dark red-colored flames. In no time at all, those flames spread over the three worlds and began to consume them all.
Listeners, as wonderful as this story is, before we hear what happens next, let us join in bhajan once again. Today, as we all join together in a delayed celebration of Datta Jayanti, let us take some time to worship the present-day Avadhuta of Lord Dattatreya, Ganapati Swamiji. Please open the Bhajan Mala app or website to Bhajan ID number 767 and join Pujya Appaji's second-in-command, Sri Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji once again, this time as he praises Pujya Appaji.
दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद उषा काले वसुरूप मध्य काले रुद्ररूप संध्या काले आदित्य त्रैपुर शक्ति गुरुने नमो तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्री श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
औदुम्बरा औदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती औदुम्बरा
अवदुम्बरा अवदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
गृहपति घर ने रक्षा करो जो दीक्षा पालन दक्षतमे छो धर्म बोधना आचार्य आत्मस्वरूपा गुरु रे जपो त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
औदुम्बरा औदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती औदुम्बरा
अवदुम्बरा अवदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
गंगा जेवू पाप हरे जमुना जेवू शांति रखे सरस्वती जेवू ज्ञान आपे पुण्य तीर्थ सद्गुरु ने भजो त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
औदुम्बरा औदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती औदुम्बरा
अवदुम्बरा अवदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
औदुम्बरा औदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती औदुम्बरा
अवदुम्बरा अवदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता सच्चिदानंद अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता सच्चिदानंद अवधूता
सच्चिदानंद अवधूता अवधूता अवधूता
सच्चिदानंद अवधूता अवधूता अवधूता
जय लक्ष्मी सत्पुत्रा सच्चिदानंद श्री गुरो
जय लक्ष्मी सत्पुत्रा सच्चिदानंद श्री गुरु
षोडश दत्त स्थापक सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरो
षोडश दत्तस्थापक सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरो
सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरो सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरो
सच्चिदानंद
That heartfelt tribute to Ganapati Swamiji was rendered by Pujya Appaji's second in command, Sri Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji. You are listening to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Sri Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. Today you heard that when Atri Maharishi undertook intense penance on the banks of the Nirvindhya river, so intense was that penance that flames burst forth from the crown of his head and started burning all three worlds.
Seeing the intensity of the sage's tapas, the trinity of Lords Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva, who are responsible for the maintenance and protection of the world, felt immensely happy. Accompanied by hosts of devatas who were serving them, they appeared before Atri Maharishi.
The three-colored luster of the Trinity illumined Atri Maharishi's mind like a flash of lightning. The Muni was so scared by the piercing light that he trembled. Yet somehow he recovered and withdrew from his samadhi. As he did so, as he opened his eyes, he saw before him Lord Brahma seated on the swan, Lord Vishnu on Garuda, and Lord Shiva on the bull. With kind, sweet smiles on their gracious faces, they were flashing a red, black, and white effulgence.
And listeners, does this remind you of anything? Red, white, and black? The colors which surrounded the Holy Trinity when they appeared before Atri Maharishi are the same colors of our national flag, the national flag of a country named after the Trinity Hills. How blessed we are as a nation that a story as auspicious as this one can so clearly remind us of Trinidad and Tobago. It is a reminder that despite our shortcomings as a nation, we are indeed a blessed land.
When Atri Maharishi saw the Holy Trinity before him, with tears of joy in his eyes, he prostrated on the ground before them. Choked with emotion and ecstasy, in a faltering voice, he praised them, saying, O Lord, wanting to bear progeny, I contemplated upon you in your single form. How compassionate you are, O Lord! You have favored me with the three divine resplendent forms, and you have come to oblige me. How fortunate I am, O Trinity! Prostrations to you, O Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Prostrations to you.
The trio, pleased with the Maharishi's devotion and steadfastness, replied saying, O Munindra, you are a noble soul, therefore your desire is also noble. It will never be in vain. We shall be born to you with our respective aspects. O Munindra, with intense devotion you have surrendered yourself to us. Out of our love for you, and in appreciation of the power of your tapas, we are giving ourselves to you. Your desire will be fully fulfilled by the child who will be born to you. May auspiciousness come to you.
After granting the boon, the Trinity disappeared. At that same moment, a handsome boy with a fascinating smile that can captivate all three worlds, a boy who was the very personification of loveliness, appeared before that blessed couple.
The boy had 3 faces and 6 hands. He wore a pitambara around his waist, and lovely curls of hair draped his forehead. Around his neck he wore divine necklaces, while gold bracelets adorned his wrists. All the 3 worlds lit his face. There was a rare brilliance around him. It was a brilliance which could open one's inner eye.
On seeing the boy, the couple was ecstatic. Their hearts were overflowing with gratitude, and their devotion increased greatly.
With outstretched arms, while smiling bewitchingly at the hesitant parents, the boy called out to them, "Mother, Father!"
The feelings of parental affection which were hidden in the depths of Atri Maharishi's and Mata Anasuya's hearts were aroused. But even greater than their affection was their devotion.
The boy smiled handsomely and innocently at the couple, alternating between affection and devotion, and said, "O mother, O father, I understand your feelings. I am also eager to have the good fortune of being born as your son, and to please you by my boyish pranks. I am Datta. Wait for some time, and I shall give myself to you."
Having granted the holy couple such a boon, the boy disappeared. Some time later, during the month of Margashirsha, when the star or nakshatra was Kritika, Sriman Narayana, combining in himself the aspects of Brahma and Shiva, was born to Anasuya Mata in the form of Lord Dattatreya.
Listeners, that word Datta means gift. Dattatreya means Atri's gift. That Lord has declared that just as he gave himself and became the adopted child of Atri Maharishi and Mata Anasuya, so too he gives himself to any devotee who gives himself to him.
Let us join in worshipping such a compassionate Lord now. The bhajan Dattatreya Trimurti Rupa says, "Dattatreya, you are the incarnation of the Trinity, or Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. You are the protector of the three worlds, or Tribhuvana of heaven, earth and hell. You are like Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow, and you are the Kalpa Vriksha, or the wish-fulfilling tree, fulfilling our wishes. You shine resplendently, holding the danda, or the wooden staff, which symbolizes wisdom, and the kamandalu, or the pot of water, which is a symbol of peace. Both of these are attributes of Lord Brahma."
The bhajan also says of the Lord, "You hold a shula or trident symbolizing the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep, and you also hold a Damaruga drum. Both of these are attributes of Lord Shiva."
Continuing to describe the Lord and his symbolism, Pujya Appaji through this bhajan says of Lord Dattatreya, "You hold the Shankha or conch, which produces the sound Om, and the Chakra or discus, which symbolizes the wheel of time. Both of these are attributes of Lord Vishnu."
You, Lord Datta, are the Supreme Being or Purushottama, who shines like the full moon or Purna Chandra.
While we are absorbed in devotion, Lord Datta, all our thoughts are bound by you, and our fear of death is destroyed. You are the ocean of compassion to your devotees.
You are born in the star Kritika and are followed by those who have reached the highest state of consciousness. They are your handsome messengers.
Sayadri mountains are your abode. You are the supreme reality and appear in the form of Dattatreya.
Listeners, if you open your Bhajanmala app or go to the Bhajanmala website and enter Bhajan ID number 200, you will find the words to this amazingly divine bhajan.
Dattathreyam Brahma Samadhi Yuktam Dattathreyam Brahma Samadhi Yuktam Dattatreya Trimurti Rupa Tribhuvana Lokaga Rakshaka Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Rupa Tribhuvana Lokaga Rakshaka Dattatreya Trimurti Rupa Tribhuvana Lokaga Rakshaka Kamadenu Kalpavruksha Kamita Paladaga Dagaka Kamadenu Kalpavruksha Kamita Paladaga Dagaka Kamadenu Kalpavruksha Kamita Paladaga Dagaka Kamadenu Kalpavruksha Kamita Paladaga ಫಲದಗ ತಾಗಕ ದತ್ತಾತ್ರೇಯ ತ್ರಿಮೂರ್ತಿ ರೂಪ ತ್ರಿಭುವನ ಲೋಕಗ ರಕ್ಷಕ ದತ್ತಾತ್ರೇಯ ದಂಡಕ ಮಂಡಲ ಶೂಲಾಡಮರುಗ ಶಂಕುಜಗ್ರಗ ಶೋಭಿತ ದಂಡಕ ಮಂಡಲ ಶಂಕುಜಗ್ರಗ ಶೋಭಿತ ದಂಡಕ ಮಂಡಲ ಶೂಲಾಡಮರುಗ ಶಂಕುಜಗ್ರಗ ಶೋಭಿತ ಶಂಕುಜಗ್ರಗ ದತ್ತಾತ್ರೇಯ ತ್ರಿಮೂರ್ತಿ ರೂಪ ತ್ರಿಭುವನ ಲೋಕಗ ರಕ್ಷಕ ಉತ್ತಮ ಉತ್ತಮ ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮ ಪೂರ್ಣಚಂದ್ರಗ ಪ್ರಕಟಿತ ಉತ್ತಮ ಉತ್ತಮ ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮ ಪೂರ್ಣಚಂದ್ರಗ ಪ್ರಕಟಿತ ಭಾವ ಬಂಧನ ಭವ ಭಯ ದೂರ ಭಕ್ತ ಕರುಣಗ ಸಾಗರ ಭಾವ ಬಂಧನ ಭವ ಭಯ ದೂರ ಭಕ್ತ ಕರುಣಗ ಸಾಗರ ದತ್ತಾತ್ರೇಯ ತ್ರಿಮೂರ್ತಿ ರೂಪ ತ್ರಿಭುವನ ಲೋಕಗ ರಕ್ಷಕ ತಾರ ಸಿದ್ಧಾನುಸಾರ ಸಿದ್ಧದೂತ ಮನೋಹರ ಕೃತಿಕಾ ತಾರ ಸಿದ್ಧಾನುಸಾರ ಸಿದ್ಧದೂತ ಮನೋಹರ ಸಹ್ಯಾದ್ರಿವಾಸ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಸಹ್ಯಾದ್ರಿವಾಸ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದತ್ತಾತ್ರೇಯ ತ್ರಿಮೂರ್ತಿ ರೂಪ ತ್ರಿಭುವನ ಲೋಕಗ ರಕ್ಷಕ ದತ್ತಾತ್ರೇಯ ತ್ರಿಭುವನ ಲೋಕಗ ರಕ್ಷಕ ತ್ರಿಭುವನ ಲೋಕಗ ರಕ್ಷಕ
What a divine way to begin to bring today's delayed Datta Jayanti celebrations to a close here on Datta Arpanam. Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Paramapujya Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Sri Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Pooja Appaji and Sri Swamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arpanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam: Valini's Drug Mart Limited, Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing this devotional hour with us.
If you would like to listen to today's program again, check out the Datta Arpanam Facebook page, where by tomorrow night, the YouTube link for today's episode will be shared.
Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Paramapujya Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः दत्तात्रेयं महात्मानं वरदं भक्तवत्सलं प्रपन्नार्तिहरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु दीनबन्धुं कृपासिन्धुं सर्वकारणकारणं सर्वरक्षाकरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु शरणागतदीनार्थ परित्राणपरायणं नारायणं विभुं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु सर्वानर्थहरं देवं सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गलं सर्वक्लेशहरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु ब्रह्मण्यं धर्मतत्त्वज्ञं भक्तकीर्तिविवर्धनं भक्ताभीष्टप्रदं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु शोषणं पापपङ्कस्य दीपनं ज्ञानतेजसः तापप्रशमनं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु सर्वरोगप्रशमनं सर्वपीडानिवारणं विपदुद्धरणं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु जन्म संसारबन्धघ्नं स्वरूपानन्ददायकं निःश्रेयसपदं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु जयलाभयशक्काम धातुर्दत्तस्य यस्तवं भोगमोक्षप्रदस्येमं प्रपठेत् सकृती भवेत् श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः
ॐ दत्तात्रेयाय विद्महे अत्रिपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो दत्तः प्रचोदयात् ॐ दत्तात्रेयाय विद्महे अत्रिपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो दत्तः प्रचोदयात् ॐ दत्तात्रेयाय विद्महे अत्रिपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो दत्तः प्रचोदयात् ॐ द्रां दत्ताय नमः ॐ द्रां दत्ताय नमः ॐ द्रां दत्ताय नमः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्।